In this video, I'll be presenting how to configure security in profiles. User profiles, by definition, are a collection of permissions that determines what the user can do with records they have access to and how they view those records. Now, one thing to keep in mind is profiles versus roles. Profiles control what you can do. Roles control what data you can see. So let's go to the next slide here and I'll show you what I'm talking about. So this is your organization-wide role hierarchy. So what I mean by that is when I say roles control what data you can see, if you're a SVP Human Resources, or sorry, let's make that SVP Sales and Marketing, anyone below you, you can see anyone below you. That includes, you can see all the data records from VP International Sales, Marketing, and all their subordinates, including the marketing team. But the marketing team, at the very bottom below VP Marketing, cannot see anything above them. So that's what I mean by roles control what data you can see. You can see data going down, but you are blocked going up. It's set up by the role hierarchy. So we've gone through that through other videos, and I'll be kind of going through that in a little more detail later. Another thing to keep in mind is profiles never override your organization's sharing model or role hierarchy. So that is something that you want to keep in mind as you're using the profiles. And here are a few of our standard profiles. We have System Admin, Standard User, Read-Only, Contract Manager, Solution Manager, Marketing User, Chatter-Free User, and Moderator User. So let's dive in. I like going right into Salesforce and just kind of messing with it and seeing what we can learn today. So I'm going to open up my Salesforce instance and we'll dive in. Well, the first thing we need to do is go to Setup. I always like to start my demos this way. And we're going to go down through the System Overview till we get down to Administration Setup. We're going to go down to Manage Users. Click on Manage Users. Go down from Users to Roles, Permission Sets, and right below that is Profiles. Let's click on Profiles. And here are our profiles. And as you can see, there's a few that you probably recognize from that slide I just showed. We've got our Chatter-Free User. We've got our Chatter Moderator User, Contract Manager. But there's a few new ones here. We have a Marketing Profile, Sales Profile, and Support Profile. These are custom that I designed myself. And we have HR Manager. Now, what I'd like to do is I'd like to actually edit my HR Manager. And I'll tell you why I do that in just a sec. But I'm basically thinking about my page layouts, because page layouts are assigned to users based on their profile. So I want to make sure that the HR Manager is looking and has the right visibility. So let's go down. We have custom app settings. The first thing I want to do, let's take a look here. I want to make sure that they have recruiting because they're HR managers as their default. So I'm going to change on the top right here under visible and default. Under recruiting, I see that the sales is the default. I'm going to change that to default for recruiting right there. Okay, so that's the first change. The second one, I'm going to pass by my standard tab settings, my custom tab settings, administrative permissions, and general user permissions, which we're going to touch at a later time. I'm going down a little further, down to standard object permissions. Objects deal with accounts, assets, price books, products. These are our objects. Because what I want to make sure is that I'm not confusing this with a marketing and a sales role, okay? So, or profile. So the first thing I want to do is I want to look at what we have here. We've got our products, price books, opportunities. Now, I want to make sure that they cannot, because this is an HR manager, delete any leads. So I'm going to unclick the delete leads. They might be able to edit. I'll leave them edit, but I don't want them deleting any of these. Let's see, what about campaigns? I'm not going to let them create, edit, or delete campaigns because they're not the marketing manager. Cases, I'll let them edit and create those, but not delete. Accounts, probably I'll leave that open. As I say, a lot of this is open for negotiation. I like to leave my instances as open as possible. But in cases where you do have to clamp down a little bit and the company gets bigger or it's a large organization, it does help a lot. And it's not necessarily because you want to keep them from doing specific things within the instance of Salesforce. Sometimes it's just to keep things a little cleaner. If they don't have to look at sales leads, they're never going to look at the leads or the opportunities. Why clutter the system? Why not just take it so that they don't have to ever have a tab for it or have a visibility for it? So just a thought. One thing I do want to make sure is that they can read, create, edit, and delete. It's called CRUD. Create, read, edit, delete on job applications. Definitely positions. I'm going to open that up completely. Let's see, what else do we have? Conferences. No, that's for marketing. Components is for sales. That's project tracker for sprints, releases, and the agile methodology. Candidates, definitely. They're dealing with candidates. For positions, I'm going to allow them full CRUD access for those. Approvers, that's fine. Employee websites, definitely. They're going to be using Monster and Google, and they have to work with that. Conference attendees is for marketing, and I think that's good just for today, just as a real quick overview, and I'm going to save that. So I'm done. That's what I've done basically to set up my my HR manager. Now I'm going to do something interesting. I'm going to go to my marketing user. Okay. Now here's something you might find interesting. If I go way down below, and I'm going to go down to where we were before, which is my objects, my standard object permissions. As you can see, I can't edit any of these permissions. These standard object permissions. It won't let me edit those. And if I go down below, I can't edit those either. Okay? So the reason is that standard object permissions cannot be edited. I say again, you cannot edit permissions on standard profiles. So I think you'll get the knack of this when you start diving in and start setting up your own org. But these are things you'll learn along the way. But these are this is something, as it's a video. You can review it anytime you like, and it's very basic. I've only covered a few things here, but I like to keep things close to the 5-minute mark. So I hope you enjoyed this video on profiles. I'll be touching on a whole bunch of different stuff under security. Enjoy the videos. Thanks.